Hi folks, Chris Voss here from the chrisvossshow.com, the chrisvossshow.com. Coming with a blog post we want to share with you. Of course, review the latest in social media and technology. We're actually here at an AT&T store, so if there's a little binary noise in the background you hear, you'll understand what that is. But we're here to review the latest and greatest. They just launched the Samsung Galaxy Note 2, and this is an additional launch to their successful Galaxy Note and also the Galaxy Samsung S3, one of my favorite phones. Especially for the Android system. So you can see it here, it's got a beautiful display screen, much larger than the Galaxy S3, and also a little bit thinner than the original Galaxy Note. It feels much more comfortable in the hand than the Samsung Galaxy Note does. I really like the presentation. It looks like a more beautifully expanded Galaxy S3. So this is from AT&T. You can find the phones at AT&T.com. That's AT&T.com. Be sure to tell our friends we sent you over there. And of course, we're doing this out of their back office, so if you hear a bit of background noise, my apologies. Hopefully we'll be getting one of these in our hands to do in a more quiet space, and we'll be also doing comparison videos. Be sure to check on their website and also subscribe to our show, the chrisvossshow.com, and our YouTube channel so you can see all the latest and greatest videos that we can get to you. Okay, so size-wise, what we're looking at here, it's got 5.95 in height and 3.17 in width and 0.37 inches in thickness. Its weight is only 6.35 ounces. I gotta tell you, just holding it, feeling it, it feels really good to my hands. I like it better in feeling and holding and carrying than the Note. With the beveled edges on the back, it seems to make a much better experience. It doesn't seem as wide and bulky as the Note. I really like the giant screen size. I'm going to be interested to see what this is going to look like. It's got an I'm not sure I pronounced this correctly, Exynos 412 chipset with a 1.6 gigahertz quad-core chip in it. Memory-wise, you're looking at internal up to 16 gigabytes and it's expandable up to 64 gigabytes of memory with the memory format, of course, of a micro SD card. There's 2 gigabytes of RAM in it, so it's got quite the speed that you can put in here. You've got a size of 5.5 on the display. Resolution is 1280 by 720 HD Super AMOLED screen. 264 PPI with 16 million colors. So it's pretty cool. Of course, it's a 4G LTE. Why shouldn't it be? And the battery capacity on this thing is pretty massive. I think this may be the biggest I've ever seen. 3,100 milliamp hours. Talk time up to 15 hours. Standby up to 12.5 days. How's that for crazy? Wow. 3,100 milliamp battery. That is crazy. Now on the back, it's got a 8 megapixel camera. So rear facing, you'll of course do 1080p with that. On the front, it has 1.9 megapixel camera, and there's 4 times zoom on it. And I believe the front facing camera will do 1080p. I don't see something saying otherwise. So I know that the 1.9 megapixel that's on the front of most of the Samsungs that I played with, I believe the Galaxy Notes, had really great, probably one of the best presences of recording. So it's just got great 4G LTE speeds. It's got, of course, the enhanced S Pen. We'll show you that here in a second. And it's a rock and roll phone when it really comes down to it. That's the other thing. It does come out of the box with 4.1 Jelly Bean. So this is pretty awesome where it's got the Jelly Bean Android operating system. In fact, let's take a look and make sure that's what we're operating here. It is very fast. And you can tell that from what you're used to if you're used to using the S3. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got. Across the top, we've got the speaker, of course, for the phone, for phone calls. You've got some sensors here, and then you've got your front-facing camera. You've also got your home button, which is a button in and of itself. There's a capacitive touchscreen, of course, for this bottom area. You've got your menu and your back button here for that. Okay, so on the back of the device, you've got your camera eye, your lamp flash that's here, the Galaxy Note. You've also got a speaker on the bottom, which is protected by the back casing. It's a good-looking case, and it also is a little heavier and thicker than the thin-feeling S3 that was there. You, of course, also have your stylus here, which pulls out, and you can see here it's much lighter and thinner. It really feels a whole lot more comfortable and lighter than the Galaxy Note 1. Of course, you've got your button here that you can take and control stuff with. You're seeing the menu come up because it's sensing that. One thing you also, of course, have is the pull-off back. And so in pulling off the back, we have the ability to remove the back battery. You can see the much bigger speaker here. And of course, the place where we can insert the micro SD card up to 64 gigabytes in our SIM card, of course. So very cool that way. Let's go ahead and put the back on.
So here you can see we're in the AT&T store. You can see the definite difference between the Samsung Note, which is on your right, and the Samsung Note 2, which is on your left. It's definitely less square, and it's also got a thinner screen and width to it. But you can even see here in the height, though, it's much taller. I mean, if you really see how much difference that is there, I don't know, about a half an inch. So it's much taller, but it's much thinner. And it's actually more comfortable. I like it more if we can get it kind of it doesn't seem much thinner on the screen, but it definitely feels very different and less boxy in real life. So I definitely like it, especially more where it's a good fit between the Galaxy 3. You can see all three there in the picture.
Okay, so with the menu on the Samsung Note, you're looking at an infinite swipe that they take in half, much like the S3 had. We don't have all the screens installed because this is a brand new phone. You can see here you have the S Note, which is the feature where you can take and make notes and use the stylus to do different things. It's a stylus. I don't think we really need to cover much of what goes into it. You know, you take the note, and, well, I guess we're still not doing it right, but you take the note, you can write on it. And of course, we probably should be using the stylus for this, but in this case, we're doing a quickie review at the AT&T store, so we'll do the best we can on what little we have. So let's see, we've also got the pull-down menu. You can see it's got the classic S3 original note pull-down with some extra things. You've got all share cast, driving mode, power saving mode, airplane mode, sync mode, etc., etc. So, and of course, you got notifications down the front. It seems really fast for the way it's built and what it does. Let's take a look at some of the benchmarking. Okay, so here are the speed test results. We're really blown away by the results here. This is mind-blowing. These speeds are incredible for downloads. We are in an AT&T store, so I don't know if that has something to do with it. I'm going to ask them if they've got some special, I don't know, extra antenna download stuff here. But those speeds are incredible. You can see the download, the upload speeds are good. Now, it does have a faster processor to 1.6 gigahertz, and the speed tests we're seeing are off the charts. So maybe that's how it's able to suck down data. But that's pretty incredible. We do remember the Samsung Note actually did also a great job at sucking down data and getting it into the deal. Okay, so here we've taken and done the Geekbench 2 score on the Galaxy Note. Wow, pretty impressive. 1873 is the score that we're getting. 1504 on the integer. Floating point is 2937. The memory is 1284. And the stream is 621. I'll slowly page down through the screens here. You can pause the video at any time. You can see we're running Android 4.1.1. There's the ARM V7, which is a 1.6 gigahertz chip. You can see your integer score. Page down a little bit more. I love the giant screen on this thing. It's really beautiful. And I'm not seeing any screen lag. We saw some screen lag with the Galaxy S3 in some of the units. So it seems to be working pretty fast and fine here. Okay, so here we can see we've run the AT&T benchmarking score test, and wow, this is really amazing. 13,547, 5 stars. The GPU came in at 8306, the RAM came in at 2852, GPU is 1497, and I/O 899. That's pretty rockin' for a phone. That may be the best benchmark I've seen with their software on a phone. That's pretty great. Okay, so here we have with the Note 2 the CF Bench Pro version 1.2, and you can see here all the different scores that it took and did. I'll let you go look through those. You can pause this video at any time to see the individual scores and how they did. The overall score came in at 14,171. You can see here it's at the top of the chart, even blowing away the Galaxy Samsung S3, the 1X, and the S2. Pretty good performance. Okay, so here we can see our browsermarkrightware.com scores that we took and pulled from this. It scored 179,550. That's 179,550. That's pretty gall darn good according to BrowserMark scores. Okay, so here you can see we have our Sun Spider scores. We scored 1,051.8 milliseconds. Wow, that's pretty darn good. The lower score is the score that you take and want to have with the Sun Spider Java test. That's pretty darn good, 1,051.8 milliseconds. Okay, so here we can see the this is the quadrant standard test. And the device score at the top of the charts, look at this thing, freaking 5,548 on the benchmark test. The XCC one came in below it. You can see, of course, it beat all the other things out. Total CPU was 14,889, memory 4152, I/O 5681, 2D 971, and 2049 on the 3D test. Pretty good for a quadrant standard score test. Okay, so here we are. We've done the Passmark performance test on this. And let's see what the results are. We came with a system score of 2679. We've got a CPU test of 11,537. Disk test 5,838. Memory test 1541. 2D graphics test 2988. And 3D graphics test 907. Pretty impressive scores. Okay, so overall, wow. This thing just kicked butt on everything on the list. The device came in at 12,331. This is on the benchmarking app that we take and have. You can see it beat out the HTC One S, and this is on the benchmark and tuning app that we have on the Android system. Wow, that thing just kicked butt. Okay, so here you can see the colors, and this is probably the best color screen I've seen on an Android device. Really sharp, crystal clear greens, light blues, dark blues, your magenta, your red, your yellow over here is really strong. Probably the strongest I've ever seen the yellow. So great screen color on the Galaxy Note, which is awesome because the screen is so big. Alright, so here you can see the GPS test, and I'm not sure if we're getting interference or not. We can only get within 30 feet. Where normally you should be getting down to about 10. We're not picking up a lot. And of course, it's always location based when it comes to these things. But we'll test it in some other results when we get some comparison videos that we can take and do with the Galaxy Note 2. Okay, so here we are. We've done the Passmark performance test on this. And let's see what the results are. We came with a system score of 2679. We've got a CPU test of 11,537. Disk test 5,838. Memory test 1541. 2D graphics test 2988. And 3D graphics test 907. Pretty impressive scores. Okay, so here you can see our Velamo score where it's doing the HTML5 testing. It'll use a lot of different Java benchmarks and HTML5 tests. We came in at 1872 for the test, and in the metal category we came in at 599. Okay, so here you can see the KFS benchmark test we've taken and done. This measures frames per second. Did really good overall, and the Galactic score did really well, 43. Overall came in at 37 frames per second, 0.079. Okay, so here you can see with the billion counter did really good, 25.89 seconds to count to a billion. Okay, so here you can see our GL benchmark 2.5.1 score with the C24Z16 test. We got 1,954 frames at 17 frames per second. On the next one down for off-screen, we got 1,954 frames at 17 frames per second. Okay, so here you can see our AT&T 3D rating benchmark score came in at 3987. Okay, so here you can see the RL benchmark SQL Lite performance scheme that we took and did. This is the RL benchmark app you can find on the Android store. Really like how the screen scrolls. Overall, came in to 16.654. That's 16.654. Now, one of the features that was with the original Note was the one-handed operation, and they've continued it here with the Samsung Note 2. So what I really like though is you can see here I can reach pretty much far across the screen as it is, but you can be able to adjust the keyboard to be at one side or another in when you want to go ahead and type something online. So let me show you how that works. I like it. It's a great feature at being able to have the keyboard to one side or another and being able to do stuff. So you can see here that you can swipe it and get it to go to one side. So in this case we have it on the right. You can go ahead and hit the button. You can have it on the left if you're left-handed, and that works much better for you. I really like that feature, but I do got to tell you, in holding it, it's not too bad for getting across to how it works. And of course, probably the easier way is to, of course, flip it this way, and then you've got plenty of room. Of course, that would be for both hands. Okay, so here you can see our front-facing camera. It's a pretty good camera. You can see actually some of the writing on the wall behind us and stuff like that. Let's see, you can even see, what does it say up there, Employee of the Month. So you can actually see stuff pretty good with the device. Comes in very sharp. It's a great front-facing camera from everything that we've tested. Okay, so let's take a look at the camera function on it. It's got a great camera. It doesn't seem to be too much different or improved than the original one that was on the S3 and the Note. You've got, of course, a switch here to switch between your camera and also your video. You can, of course, take and focus it that way, and it beeps when it focuses. You got your front-facing camera, back-facing camera, alarms. You've got the ability to change for limit for MMS. This is kind of interesting. There's a slow motion feature and a fast motion feature. I haven't seen that so far on a Galaxy S3. You've also got different effects that you can take and put onto the device. These are, of course, pre-screened effects where you can see them before they come out on the picture, and you can basically see how they look. With settings, you've got edit shortcuts you can take and do, self-recording, flash, recording modes that you can take and do, much like you saw earlier, effects that you can take and do, exposure value, timer, resolution, of course you get 1080p, white balance, outdoor visibility, guidelines, anti-shake, GPS tag, contextual frame, file name. That's pretty interesting. Video quality, of course, you can take and adjust. Let's see, and of course you've got reset there at the bottom. So, and you can put shortcuts in here, which is kind of nice. Now those are the video settings. Let's take a look at the camera settings that we have. Probably not much different. You might have some different scenery modes, I think, that we have here. So you've got shooting modes, best photo, best face, face detection, panorama, share shot. Looks like I ended up clicking on one of them. Share shot, HDR, buddy photo share, beauty, smile shot, low light, as different options you can take and have. And of course you can adjust your flash. Here you can do self-portrait, edit, shortcuts. We're in a different mode, but it looks like the burst mode is definitely in here, where you can take multiple pictures at once. Flash mode's off. It's just happens to be what I end up clicking on. And sorry, like I said, we're punting in an AT&T store, so we're kind of doing what we can with what we got. So you've got the burst mode that you can take and adjust on and off. You've got the shooting mode that you can take and adjust for the camera, as we were talking about earlier. That was for the video. Scene mode, of course, you've got scene mode here. Let's see if we can't pull that up. So you can see scene mode, portrait, landscape, sports, party, indoor, beach, sun. Definitely got a lot more added on here. Text, candlelight. You can, of course, adjust your exposure value, focus mode, timer, resolution, white balance, metering, outdoor visibility, guidelines, auto share shot. That's pretty interesting. I imagine that auto shares a shot when you make it, sends it to other folks in your little network thing. Let's take a look at some of the photos that we got. Okay, so photo-wise, let's take a look at some of the photos we got. It has great close-up range. You can see we use the kind of the webbing or whatever you want to call it in the front of a fridge. Got within, I think, about an inch or so and got this really good shot. So it's able to take close-up shots. Pictures, of course, crystal clear, very sharp, and everything else. You have the Employee of the Month there. Here's a shot of our ProLine stand that we have, our tripod. Now this is a dark shot. The lamp and the flash on this thing is freaking awesome. It kicks butt. This is, of course, a lamp flash in a completely dark environment. This is a complete dark room, and we shot it with the flash. It was able to focus and get everything into frame as to what it wanted to do, everything into focus. To give you an idea, this is a shot with the lights turned on, and this is a shot with the lamp flash. Pretty darn good when it comes to lighting up the area. We also found the same in using the video. This is another completely dark shot where we're shooting in complete utter darkness, and the lamp pretty much lights up the whole room. You could use this to find your way through a mine. So yeah, it's got a really great lamp on it, great video. Really impressed with the lamp and the flash mode that's on the Galaxy Note 2. So very cool that way.